Good afternoon, it's 1 o'clock p.m. and you are welcome to Krobia News at 1. Now the headlines. Edward demands higher education investment in 2026 national budget. 6 trains crashed as job desperation turns deadly. ECOWAS and AFDB launch active phase of early warning strengthening project. ECOWAS and Nigeria launch regional workshop to strengthen the animal feed industry in West Africa. Bank of Ghana unveils new foreign exchange operations framework. Now the news in detail. Africa Education Watch, EdWatch, a prominent education advocacy organization, has urged the Ghanaian government to significantly increase funding for the education sector in the upcoming 2026 budget, citing concerns that current allocations fall below internationally recognized standards. Kofi Asari, Executive Director of EdWatch, criticized the 2025 budget for failing to meet minimum global benchmarks for education financing. He emphasized that Ghana must prioritize educational investment to ensure quality learning outcomes for students across the country. International organizations recommend that governments allocate at least 15 to 20% of their national budgets to education. Many African countries struggle to meet these targets despite recognizing education as fundamental to economic development and poverty reduction. Ghana's education sector faces multiple challenges that require substantial financial intervention. Infrastructure deficits, teacher shortages, inadequate learning materials, and technology gaps continue to hamper educational delivery, particularly in rural and underserved communities. The think tank's call comes as the government prepares its 2026 fiscal plan amid competing demands from various sectors. They came with hope in their hearts and application forms in their hands. 6 young women, whose names now represent a generation struggle for survival, died not in service to their country, but while desperately seeking the chance to serve. The stampede at El Wak Stadium on November 12, 2025 has exposed a brutal truth about modern Ghana. The uniform once feared during military rule has become a lifeline for thousands of unemployed youth, and that desperation is killing them. When over 30,000 applicants descended on Accra's El Wak Sports Stadium before dawn, they were not just seeking jobs. They were fleeing an economy that has abandoned them, chasing one of the few remaining pathways to dignity in a nation where youth unemployment has become a national emergency. For every position available in the Ghana Armed Forces recruitment exercise, nearly 10 desperate young people were competing, and in that crash of bodies and dreams, 6 women lost their lives. The barracks is not for the faint-hearted. Parents once warned their children, steering them away from military service during Ghana's volatile political past. Today, those same parents are encouraging their children to join, not out of patriotism alone, but out of economic necessity. The transformation is complete. What was once a last resort has become a first choice, and the tragedy at El Wak is the price of that shift. President John Dramani Mahama has confirmed that all 6 victims were female and has ordered the immediate suspension of the nationwide recruitment exercise. But suspending recruitment does not address the fundamental crisis: a generation of educated, capable young Ghanaians with nowhere to go and nothing to do except wait for the next recruitment announcement. Security analysts have questioned how authorities with years of experience conducting such exercises fail to anticipate the risks. The answer is uncomfortably simple. They underestimated the depth of desperation. When survival is at stake, security protocols mean nothing. When the alternative is unemployment, even a stampede risk seems worth taking. The armed forces, an institution respected for discipline and order, now faces a reckoning. The very qualities that make military service attractive, stability, structure, and guaranteed income, are the same things Ghana's civilian economy has failed to provide its youth: digital registration and regional selection. The proposed solutions are necessary but insufficient. They address the symptoms, not the disease. What happened at Elwak was not an accident. It was inevitable. It was the logical conclusion of an economy that creates thousands of graduates each year but cannot create jobs. It was the predictable result of a system where any government paycheck, represents the best hope for a secure future. Those 6 women did not die trying to storm a concert or flee a disaster. They died trying to work, trying to contribute, trying to build lives of purpose in a country that has made that simple aspiration extraordinarily difficult. Their deaths should haunt every policymaker who has watched youth unemployment statistics climb while offering only speeches and promises. The 6 women who died at Elwak Stadium were not casualties of war. They were casualties of an economy at war with its own youth. Their memory deserves more than condolences and investigations. It deserves transformation. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, with funding from the African Development Bank, AFDB, has officially launched the active phase of its project to enhance early warning and response capacities across the region. The milestone was marked by a 4-day retreatment that began on Monday, November 10th, 2025, at Zuma Rock in Niger State, Nigeria. The initiative seeks to reinforce ECOWAS' ability to detect, anticipate, and prevent human security crises in West Africa. By doing so, it aims to foster peace, stability, investment, and sustainable development. Key priorities include embedding prevention as a core principle in early warning and crisis response, integrating gender and climate change considerations for a holistic approach, strengthening regional resilience against climate shocks and other fragility factors, implementation and leadership with a budget of $2.7 million and a 2-year implementation period. The project is being executed by the ECOWAS Commission's Early Warning Directorate under the agreement signed with AFDB in May 2024. Additionally, contextual risk assessments and conflict sensitivity analysis will be conducted in member states. These will incorporate gender-sensitive indicators, identify structural vulnerabilities, and support conflict prevention strategies through data-driven insights. At the opening session, Dr. Onyinye Omuka, Director of Early Warning at the ECOWAS Commission, urged the management unit to remain committed to ensuring the project's success. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS Commission, through its Regional Agency for Agriculture and Food, ARA, in partnership with Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, has inaugurated a high-level regional workshop on the development of the animal feed industry in West Africa and the Sahel. The 2-day event, held at the Sandrilia Hotel in Abuja from November 11th to 12th, brings together policymakers, researchers, and private sector stakeholders to advance discussions on aflatoxin management and identify strategies for building a competitive, integrated, and sustainable regional livestock feed industry. Driving regional cooperation. Opening the workshop, Dr. Chinyere Ijeoma Akujobi, Permanent Secretary of Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to regional collaboration in strengthening livestock value chains. Animal feed is the backbone of sustainable livestock production and a strategic lever for food and nutrition security. Nigeria stands ready to support ECOWAS in building a structured and competitive feed industry that meets farmers' needs and enhances food security, she said. Speaking on behalf of Spain and the EU, Mr. Santiago Omenu Garcia, Coordinator of Spanish Cooperation, AECID, in Nigeria and ECOWAS, praised the initiative as the culmination of 4 years of collaboration. From an academic perspective, Dr. Fernando Escribano of Universidad Politécnica de Madrid and SEGRAM underscored that PRISMA is rooted in evidence, partnerships and accountability. He explained that the Abuja workshop builds on commitments made in Abidjan in 2024 to establish a regional feed traceability system, now advancing toward harmonization, laboratory networking and data sharing mechanisms. Of 318 feed samples analyzed, 20% showed contamination, while 90% of milk samples exceeded acceptable limits. Dr. Sidibe called for stronger collaboration among laboratories to trace contamination sources and harmonize quality control frameworks across ECOWAS. For West Africa, this initiative represents more than technical progress. It is a promise of change. A stronger feed industry will boost livestock productivity, reduce contamination risks, and generate new employment opportunities, particularly for women and youth. Stakeholders emphasize that the emerging network of feed producer associations must be private sector driven, ensuring sustainability, competitiveness, and regional ownership. This effort reinforces ECOWAS' vision of a self-reliant, food-secure, and integrated region where innovation serves people first. The Bank of Ghana has launched a comprehensive foreign exchange operations framework designed to enhance market transparency, strengthen investor confidence, and support macroeconomic stability across the country's financial sector. The central bank outlined 3 primary objectives in a statement released recently. These include building robust foreign reserves to shield the economy from external shocks, moderating excessive short-term volatility in the currency market, and managing FX inflows through transparent, market-neutral mechanisms. Bank of Ghana officials emphasized that the institution will maintain a flexible, market-determined exchange rate policy. Central bank intervention will occur only when addressing disorderly market conditions or filling critical gaps, such as the absence of hedging mechanisms during periods of extreme market swings. Financial analysts view the new framework as a positive step towards stabilizing Ghana's currency markets. Predictable central bank actions typically reduce speculation and help businesses make more informed decisions about import costs and export revenues. Export-oriented industries stand to benefit from the increased predictability in foreign exchange management. Companies can better forecast revenue conversions and manage currency risks when central bank actions follow clearly communicated guidelines and schedules. This is the end of Krobia News at 1. I am Akusia.